Hi-yo, everybody. Welcome to the Jess Marshall Podcast, Episode 2. Today on the podcast, I've got straight out of the heart of Tarrant County, Luke Anderson with Colt Construction. We've known each other for a couple of years, and we're going to share our shared experiences growing up in construction, playing football all through high school, and then playing football through college, getting married, family life, life in this business, working hard, building teams, building our companies, talking about fighting through adversity, and working with and in the very difficult insurance claim business. I think it's going to be an awesome episode. I think there's going to be a lot of energy, maybe a few cuss words. I hope you all enjoy. Brother, straight out the heart, Tarrant County. I'm glad you came to Dallas, put your tie on, came over here.
Yeah, I had to get presentable here.
Gonna bring some Tarrant County culture over to Dallas. Luke Anderson, straight out of South Lake, Keller Grapevine. Thanks for coming, man. It's good to see you.
Good to see you, man.
It's been way too long.
I know. We've definitely stayed in touch, which has been important, and yeah, I'm excited for your kickoff here, man. A lot of people need to hear what you got to say. So.
Well, they need to hear what you have to say. That's why you're here, and I'm glad we organized it, and I appreciate you coming on, man, because there are a lot of fake people running around, and it's a bummer, and it gives some of us a bad name. So, where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to high school? Where'd you go to college?
So I was born in Dallas. Lived in DeSoto till 98, and we moved from DeSoto to South Lake. It was a farm town. My grandpa was a concrete man, and then slowly became a contractor and had concrete crews, and then he started to build like in probably 95 or 96 down in DeSoto, and it kind of dried up. They had a whole big plant that had all these jobs, and they shut down that. I guess if you did the research on it, you'd know exactly what name it was. I was talking to a guy from Waxahachie the other day, and he was like, "Oh, it was so-and-so," but I forget the name. But anyway, so him and Rich Robbins, my grandpa's name was Donald Anderson. It was Con Anderson Homes in South Lake, and basically they probably built over 3,000 homes in Tiburon, and then all throughout South Lake, and it went from having a Walmart and a Dairy Queen, and that McDonald's on Kimball to being like, top 10, like highest per net income capita, like around, in the nation, really.
It's South Lake, Texas, man. Yeah.
We got football, and
yes, you
now
do.
There's an abundance of shopping. So.
Yes. Some NFL players live out there. Yeah.
Yep. Some NFL players live out there, and
so you've got contracting and construction in your blood.
Yes, sir. Yep. So, I grew up there, but it was kind of different because we were building everything for, the high net worth individuals that could qualify for the loans, and, blue blood money, or CEOs that are, high execs at IBM or, Cisco, or we're these giant, companies and in the corporate world, and then a lot of pilots because of DFW, right? And it was a good school district at a 3A program, and it was growing and it was doing well, right? And anyway, but yeah, I grew up just kind of different than a lot of guys that I grew up with, and I love everybody I grew up with. They're great people and they're great guys and everything, but I was kind of just cut from a gritty cloth early, man. I rode with my dad to these jobs, and he was, I'd ride on his lap in a Bobcat, and then we would dig ditches and lay irrigation and do concrete, do all the landscape, and he would help my grandpa, do his stuff, and then other builders were like, "Hey, are you the guy for this?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm the guy for that." And he's like, "Well, what does Con Anderson pay you?" he's like, what do you pay your other guys? Because my grandpa was like running them, into the ground per hour. But, yeah, man, it's, I just had to work, dude, and even my pops, he's a beast, and he'll tell you like, oh, you never had to work as hard as I had to work, and that's true. And it's the same for his dad. You know what I mean? And that's what you want anyway. Your dad if you have a father, you're blessed enough to have a father that was around, you want that ceiling to be your floor. And I think what's going on right now in the nation is we're like becoming a fatherless nation. Even people that had parents, they're so dialed in with their career, or they're so dialed in with their personal life, they're so dialed in with all that stuff, they don't want to raise kids. Shit's hard, dude. It's fucking hard. So they don't want to do that. My pops didn't sacrifice that shit. He was hard on me, dude, but he was there. And he wasn't at every sporting event. But late in my life when I pursued, career to the NFL and like college football and all that, he didn't miss any of that shit. But, he started a roofing company in 92, 93. They had 20 sales reps, 3 office ladies, and then I had 2 younger brothers, and I was telling my mom one time, I'm like, yeah, we're in a hard season or whatever, and she was like, when I was your age, I was running that office in Duncanville, and your dad was in Cancun running a charter fishing business.
What the?
She's like, anyway, and I'm like, okay, Mom, whatever. But love you, Michelle. But yeah, man, I think the roots of doing a lot of shit that you don't want to do early and not understanding why you're doing that stuff ends up where you end up in business and real life when shit's real hard or adversity hits you when you're not expecting it, which it always does. I mean, we're in the middle of a stupid pandemic where the facts aren't we're not knowing really what's going on, but people really do get sick, right? Like, we're in the middle of that, of an unknown place, and I watched my dad walk through entrepreneurship in many different seasons of unknown. And so that was my normal, and I was blessed to have that. And so anyway, but definitely want any handouts, so.
No silver spoon. There was no silver spoon. You had a hammer in your hand when you were born, it sounds like.
Or a fishing pole.
What, I know you were way into football growing up. Obviously, that took you to some places. Was that kind of your was your reward? Work hard, do okay in school, and then you get to play some ball.
That was the first love.
Yeah,
I really wasn't shepherded to like, hey, you work hard and do good in school, like, and you should do this for football or whatever. Like, my dad enjoyed that I liked it, and he enjoyed watching me, and I was good at it. And so I found love in that, and then I found also a firm affirmation in that, because my dad was a very performance type. It's a and that's a lot a deal that almost has to get cut off, like generationally, where like, somebody that unconditionally loves you. Like, I mean, I don't know. There's just a lot of men out there, man, that like, I mean, I'm talking grown-ass men, 60-something years old or 50-something years old, that they've worked their ass off on a career to and maybe their dad wasn't like, hey, I'm proud of you, but they grind their ass off and do all this stuff, and really it's to have an affirmation from a father to say, hey, I'm proud of you. You're kicking ass. And I think, like, that a problem with the football thing was I was good at it, but it was my identity early, and I wish it wouldn't have been. But by God's grace, my dad taught me how to freaking run tools and not be tired with a shovel. And so when I went to like work hard with football shit, I was like, this is cool. I get to put cleats on. I'm not having to dig ditch in mud 3 foot deep and 100 degrees. I'm gonna go run with my boys or throw the football. So I figured that type of work was easier than the manual work, but the manual labor work was what brought the gritty values of like being able to go, let's run another one type shit.
Foundational.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, That's putting the rebar in the foundation right
That's it,
there.
son.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
dig that ditch. Why? Because I told you to.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Texas high school football thing, man. When I moved down here, that was I opened my eyes. There's universities with smaller stadiums than some of the high schools here in Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, when I moved here, I had my head on a swivel, going, "The hell is going on? It's crazy."
Because you're from Washington?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was. It's different. I mean, it's popular. Basketball's popular up there too. But I mean, Texas. This is Texas.
This is the Mecca, man.
Oh yeah.
This is the Mecca. This is where, they could rebuild some roads, or they could build a bigger stadium.
They can build a $80 million stadium in Allen or South Lake or McKinney or whatever.
Yep.
Talk about what that team aspect of running with your boys did for you growing up, and kind of how that was maybe the second layer of your foundation growing up.
Yeah, so I think that the football athletic aspect of it, I was blessed enough to really get to see a special cohesion of, we went on a run where we were 89-1.
Wow.
And
That's crazy.
At 5A before they had 6A, right? And so they had and there was a lot of, siblings and stuff that were descended from farm town shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, like those guys, like you got the Hansons, you got the Jacobsons, you got...
Are you doing shout-outs right now?
I'm doing shout-outs. You guys are lucky, right? No, but, I mean...
you making people famous.
Yeah, Benoit, Renfro, we had... But what we had, though, was we would say family.
Yeah.
We wouldn't break out to, like, dragons or anything like that. We always broke out to family.
Yeah.
And so we had a brotherly bond that was foxhole shit early as kids, and we did, and in high school we had Monday we'd do practice, and then we would hang out after. Tuesday we had game night. We'd play Halo back then, and we'd hook up all the links, we'd hook up all the steals and play Halo, and then Wednesday we'd go to Babe's Chicken.
Yeah.
In Roanoke, which
there
is
you
like
go.
a tradition.
377, yo.
Oh, yeah. Man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Before tacos, the avocados.
There you go.
And Twisted Root. It was fucking dirt lot.
Yeah.
And
that Babes has been out there forever.
Yeah.
There's a Hard 8 over there now, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
They could go ahead and deliver some of those jalapeno popper things. I'll throw some of those down. I haven't eaten all day. Team, man. Right? Like, you can go fast alone, but you can go
the Lord told
far
me,
together.
Yeah, the Lord told me two will go farther than one. He told me that. He told me that last year around this time, and I continued to recruit, and I couldn't find anybody that wanted to roll with me.
We've talked about it.
Yeah. Yeah, but now we got 4 guys. But back to the team thing, man, like you don't quit on your brother.
Yeah.
Even if they're an asshole.
Because hopefully he won't quit on you.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than being in that foxhole and feeling like somebody's quitting on you.
Yeah.
Or even wondering.
Yeah.
It's hard to establish that trust.
That's a hard place, and I think what's really going on, and the irony of us finally getting together in person, jumping on this podcast during the middle of some, this crazy, pandemic, bullshit propaganda deal that, where it's just a political shit show, circus, right? Where I think it's obvious to, people are trying to create division when we're really trying to hone in on family.
Yep.
And that goes with everything. That goes with team. That goes with all the stuff. But yeah, man, I don't know. We could rant on that.
We could, man. I mean, we could be here till tomorrow morning talking about that stuff. You guys go on a massive run, winning a bunch of football games. You probably wanted to go to the next level. We'll talk about that whole process. The excitement, maybe some disappointment, you got a goal, what it took to get there.
That was the biggest road of adversity early.
Lay it on me.
I didn't handle my schoolwork because I wasn't interested in school, and they tried to put me in a box.
What was your worst subject, bro? Math. Look at the mullet. I just like our friends. That's just impressive. I mean, I just feel like you deserve a little credit for that. Take some balls to roll around with that, man.
Yep.
People might wonder if you drive a box van in your off time or something. So schoolwork.
Schoolwork wasn't my forte. My dad, he worked so much.
Yeah.
Even my grandpa pulled him out of high school because he was such a good hand.
Provide for the family.
He barely graduated.
Gotcha.
Neither one of my parents went to college, so I didn't understand the requirements or the importance of that. And I had a mindset of, I'm fucking good. I'm putting this shit on tape where I'm trying to throw guys in the Gatorade coolers. They're gonna find me.
Varsity Blues style.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was very much like that.
Love it.
Yeah.
Get some.
Anyway, and so I thought they're gonna find me. They're gonna get me in, whatever. And
right.
that's really, they're not going to pluck a Caucasian male out of South Lake and deal with problems.
No.
They want you to have your shit together.
Yeah.
And I did not. But on a character level, as far as like a good person and a team guy, and I didn't waver on that. I just didn't like fucking going to class.
Well, so how'd you fight your way out of that telephone booth of a problem?
So I was an academic non-qualifier. Kent State out of Ohio was the only school that...
Julian Edelman.
Yep. Yeah, he was a quarterback. And they recruited me, and they were the only D1 that was trying to that went around the avenues of head coach and all the different things. And they said, we don't give a shit what your school's like. You need this score on the ACT. You need this on the SAT. We're going to try to get you qualified, because if you don't, you're going to have to go JC, junior college. And so, anyway, I did the ACT, did the SAT, didn't score high enough because I was like at a 1.9. Like I was class ranking 604 out of 644. So not the best accolade on the scholastic side, but I kind of think it's a feather in the hat now because I really don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so I had to go JC, dealt with a bunch of drama with the old head coach there with, hidden recruitment letters and not knowing exactly how much interest was in me. So I didn't understand how short of a time span I needed to have to get my shit together and put in all the late homeworks and try to really ramp up for GPA, because I'm not some good test taker. And but I had to go JC, so I went to Kilgore College.
Gotcha.
Out of high school, East Texas.
Mm-hmm. Piney Woods, bro. Piney Woods.
Yep. Dried up oil town. And first day, I got to tell this story because
Let's go.
Almost died.
Really?
Yeah. First day, we go out there for summer workouts. It's 108 degrees.
Ugh.
Piney Woods, humid as shit.
No breeze.
And we were doing a 15-minute station deal for 45 minutes of grass drills, tug of war, hurdles, and the Remember the Titans shit, man.
Yeah.
Just up and down and shit.
Right.
And they're not giving us water. There is no break.
Yeah.
And so, I bring a jug of water out there thinking I'm going to get to drink it when I'm done. And it's like, hotter than bath water, scalding shit by the time I'm actually done. And they say, bring it up. And we're all dying, dude. I mean, it took everything mentally right there to not fucking walk off and go, college football's not for me. Especially junior college football, where there's no regulations on how hard they can push you.
Nobody's watching that.
No. And they go, overtime. Overtime.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh God. And they bring us out to the stadium, and the stadium was grassy turf, and it had a temperature gauge on there, dude. It said 114, and you could see them heat waves, and we're all waiting on the water hose. We're waiting on the water hose. There ain't no jugs of water or nothing out there, and I'm waiting on a water hose. I'm like 8th guy in line, dude. It's about to be my turn, and a fight breaks out. And our starting free safety and a DN named Kedion and Blaley, dude, are just going at it. And
throwing down.
Keddy's hands are like frying pans, dude. You know, I played with him in this All-American game, All-Star game, and he's from Crosby. But he's like Nigerian, and he's just a giant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, Keddy's going to knock him out, dude. And he missed one, dude, and he went, and Victor went, whoa, and just dropped him, dude, and he landed like a thing of timber on the ground. And they go, oh, y'all got energy? Y'all got energy?
Oh,
I'm
God.
like, oh, shit, dude. I'm going to get that water. I'm like, no. Anyway, and they ran us to, we kept running, dude, and this guy, Woody McClendon, was like, you got to keep running, buddy. He was like a grown man. He looked like fucking Paul Bunyan, lumberjack. Yeah. He was like 24, still in junior college, you know, and he was like a tight end. And he's like, keep running, buddy. And anyway, we did that all the next day. I left that day, and I thought, this is fucking crazy.
Baptism by fire.
Yeah. So I played a season of junior college there. Broke my wrist against Navarro. Played the season with a cast.
Navarro.
You a Corsicana guy?
No, but I went there.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, so we came home, had wrist surgery, started doing a few classes at TCC, you know, local community college. Didn't know if I wanted to go back and play football with it like that.
Yeah.
We went from 50,000, 20,000 in the stands regularly to like fucking 100.
Yeah.
Just parents, you know. And so, anyway, that was my first year to start, you know, working a little bit, making money, but I didn't have my head screwed on right, so I was just spending it on drugs, you know. And I mean, this is the No Limits, transparent, fuck it podcast, right?
Just it is the DIY fuck it podcast.
Just be completely real, you know, like, so
what are you, just smoking bowls every day or what?
Yeah, well, no, you know, smoking bowls, and you know, I was not.
Get on that mic. Everybody wants to hear this shit.
Yeah, so smoking, chiefing bowls, and buying, you know, Valium and Xanax.
Really?
100 to 200, you know, a pop, or like, you know, 200 packs, and then, you know, divvying them out. And I was just, you know, ringleader of a party, man. Like, everybody needed that, and
right,
you know, but I was probably taking.
You lost your way a little bit, man.
Yeah, I was getting a little. I was getting a little too crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that I had like a, you know, people kept saying like, yeah, Luke's crazy. I almost had like this reputation of like, I got to uphold that shit, you know? And that was so not right, you know? And anyway, but come back around in the fall, I start knocking doors on roofing.
Okay.
Start getting a better, consistent work ethic, and start making some jingle in my pocket.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I want to sell.
Right.
And my pops is like, you ain't ready to sell. I don't want you to sell. And I'm like, I get you guys all the leads.
Right.
Let me try to sell one. And he said, well, run with Uncle Donnie. You know, I'm not going to teach you. I'll let Donnie tell you his deal. And so I roll with Uncle Donnie for 2 days. And he gives me a 6-shooter, dude. And that 6-shooter was find hell, get him to call it in, and you know, fucking get an estimate.
You bet.
And so, anyway, and
that's very direct and to the point.
Yeah. And he's like, here's a template of how I do it. Okay, this is what hail looks like. And he was a licensed adjuster, so Donnie was like not, you know, Joe Schmo. Like, he was a top salesman, licensed adjuster. Everybody that knows Donnie Anderson likes Donnie Anderson.
Yeah.
Man. That's Uncle Don's. Anyway, but yeah, so had jingle in my pocket, started going and just visiting colleges. I'm like, I got enough money to just drop money and fly out and see my boys. But I started to work out a lot more, and I was hooping one day, and which I'm not a basketball guy. I got slowly got better at it, but I was pretty shitty. And but it was good exercise, and I don't fuck with the treadmill.
Yeah.
he was like, "Are you gonna go back and play?" And I said, "Man, I miss it, but I think I'm gonna walk on somewhere or whatever." So I come and approach my dad, and I said, "Hey, I want to walk on at Tech. All my buddies are at Tech. I'm gonna walk on and be on the football team. It's this much for a semester." And he says, "Well, who's paying for that shit?" And I'm like, "Well, all my friends, they're all just going to college. They're not even trying to, play. They're just going to get the education,
right?
And I'll probably get on scholarship if you can just float this first semester. I'll act right." He goes, "You got me confused with somebody else, son." He says, "I'm not fucking doing that." And he says, "You can either keep working here, or you can go get yourself a scholarship. Go work out for some teams, figure it out. I'm busy." I'm like, "Damn, okay." So that door shuts, and that's cool.
Yeah.
It did. Reached out to Brad Franchione. He recruited me out of Blinn. Cam Newton's from Blinn.
Yeah.
Bunch of freak athletes came out of Blinn, and I call him, and he says, "Well, I'm not, that offer's gone. You played against us in the same conference. You can come out here and work out, and we'll see if you're worth a shit."
Yeah.
So I go out there and work out, and he's like, "Hey, you're still worth a shit,
Yeah.
And so I played there, and I was like an all-conference guy there, but and then I went from there to get recruited to play at Wyoming.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
long ass story. I'm sorry.
Oh, I love it, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's like trying to trim it down.
Well, you find yourself at Wyoming. You doing a little antelope hunting on your off days? Any of that action? Yeah. I mean,
I loved it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one college for the whole state.
Oh yeah.
Everybody is mostly ranchers and just they bleed brown and gold. They love that shit.
Yep.
And it was way away from distractions.
Sure.
And I didn't need any more distractions in my life.
Did you get yourself kind of just lasered in on?
Once I went from D1, or once I jumped from junior college to D1, it was like, and even as a little boy, like it was always a quest to the NFL.
Oh yeah.
It was the quest.
Right.
Whether anybody believed that shit or not, I didn't give a shit. That
Right.
was my shit.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is a quest for the league.
Yeah.
Whether they laughed or they were like, "Hey man, you got it."
Right.
It didn't matter. That was like up here. I was going to do my best for that.
Right.
It's the only reason why I went to class.
Yeah. No, I feel you, man. What? I know it's a tough thing when your athletics career finally comes to that end, and you gotta encounter real life, be a civilian. What was that like for you?
That was
Because that identity, if you got a bunch tied up in that, that's tough sometimes.
that was a year and a half at least of depression, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I was first year married, had a radical encounter with Jesus, and thought.
Where'd you meet your wife at?
I met her that TCC
Cool.
summer when I came home after my surgery on my arm, and anyway, and so I got married my senior year against all the coaches, will and everything else.
Yeah. Young love.
I'm like, I don't understand y'all. So y'all'd rather me be just womanizing out there and showing up late to meetings, or like being married? Like, I don't get it. Like, how does that fucking make me soft?
Right.
Like, if anything, like, it's like, damn, this guy's a grown-up already. He's trying to be a grown-up.
Yeah.
I like that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead, it was like, oh, man, you cut your hair and you got married. You're not the fucking same, dude. Samson effect. I'm like, get out of here, dude.
Yeah.
Meet you in.
They think you're gonna lose your edge.
Yeah.
But you found a foxhole partner in her, huh? Right?
Yeah.
To live life with, you know?
Yeah. And so she was there in the down and dirty, man. And it's one of those things with social media and, all the bullshit out there, dude. There's less and less, women that want to dig deep and deal with, hey, I'll live with you in a cardboard box. I'm married for love.
Wow.
And so like we were young and love, and we didn't know what the fuck we were gonna do, and I told her, I said, get behind me, I'll try to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to get drafted, man, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, like I had, you know, some tread and some agents talking to me, and I was the 10th ranked free safety in the nation going into the senior year. And then we had more adversity with that, and then I got injured, and, you know, we had to go to the drawing board, man.
Yeah. I mean, talk about adversity. What is I've got opinions about it. What say you, my friend? Adversity. I mean, it's a very relevant topic, and it reveals itself to all of us on a daily basis, and it takes many forms. I think many forms.
So I told somebody this. Yesterday, dude, and like, you know, you can get in the gym. You're a strong guy, dude. You know, you probably move around that shit when you do it consistently, and then you make gains and
Sure.
everything like that, and it hurts while you're doing it, right?
Yeah.
And then you walk out of there and you feel better,
Oh yeah.
and you're like, hey, I'm getting fucking strong here.
Right.
You know, well, what happens is there's some people that can, like, you know, you'll hear like the phrase like, you know, you got to carry your own cross.
Yeah.
Right. And then what'll happen is in your mind you go, well, damn, dude, my cross is heavier than his.
Yeah.
But that cross to him is heavy as fuck.
Oh yeah.
So like I'm having to try to program my mind to have grace for people when I'm like, you know what, dude? I can get in my mind and be bitter and say like, you know, your shit is easy compared to this shit over here. But that's heavy to them, dude. If they're only benching 185 pounds and they're struggling to get that shit up and it's like, and they're bringing it.
Yeah.
They're trying, dude.
Yeah.
They're trying. What I'm against, fully, to the core, is that comfort shit, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You take that up the fucking road, man. Downright for real. Because I'm not into that, dude. Because you want growth. You want excellence. You want push. You want to be a changer. You want to change your stars, dude. You gotta go to the uncomfortable valley shit where it is famine down there, dude.
It's dark.
And it is dark and it is lonely. And
It's jagged. It's sharp.
yeah.
Yeah. There's wolves around every corner, and it's not gonna be given to us. You know, there's something to be said for the fact that if you want to get somewhere in life and you have ambitions and goals and dreams, to whom much is given, much is required.
Boom. Bible verse. Let's go. Let her read.
Often, though, before it's given, it's required. You get tested.
Yeah.
Tested. Here's a hurdle. What are you going to do?
Yep.
Cut and run? Or are you going to get over that?
Yeah.
And a lot of times, that hurdle, you can't get around it. You can't get under it. You can't get over it. You got to go through it. I mean, you got to bust through it.
Yeah.
And it's the dark times, the hard times that define people, right? Like, what have we found in the last 4 months? We found out who some people really are, because shit's gotten real and hard and uncomfortable every single day. I mean, we work in essential, we work in construction, but every single day there has been a new challenge since this virus stuff started.
Yeah.
Every single day, something new, something I've been doing this for 25 years, stuff I've never even thought of coming up. How are you going to solve it? Are you going to throw your hands up, cut and run, fold your tent, or are you going to dig deep and blast through that shit?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just think that I think people are really doing a disservice to themselves by not going down deep into those capacities of like, how hard could I really fucking grind here?
Yeah.
Or like, you know, just I don't know, man. Like everybody's so fucking safe all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want to say like be a bad steward and don't you know, but to a certain extent, everything is a risk. You know, like that's what I was trying to explain to somebody when they were talking early about this whole COVID thing. I said I'm more at risk every time I get in that fucking car and drive down 30 East in Dallas.
Yeah.
I am definitely more at risk of dying than getting COVID when I put my seatbelt on and drive down into this freaking Bermuda Triangle of everybody like, oh, I'm exiting, look out.
Oh, yeah.
And I just think
That high five is crazy, man. Yeah. There is more of a risk of that happening than some of this other, but I mean, we don't even know. There's so much misinformation. How do you keep you're running this restoration contracting business now? How do you keep your guys on track? I mean, it seems like every single day there's a new distraction, you know, and while you don't want to live your life with blinders on to where you have no awareness of what's going on around you, there is certainly something to be said for keeping your head down and controlling what you can control on a daily basis.
So one thing that I learned about, which a lot of new age people will like really hone in on, but you know, I learned it in football and from the Bible. You know, you speak life because life and death lies in the power of the tongue. That's in the Word. That comes from the Word. Okay, and then it says, without a vision, the people perish. Okay, there's a certain mantle in our lives as leaders when you're put in those positions to create vision and cast that vision to help so the people of the land know where to fucking go.
Right.
Right. So basically, like, what I try to do, man, is, and the reason it's been a slow burn on like this whole, you know, team building process is, you know, I'm investing in these guys, and I sat there with one of them the other day. We were going through, you know, a commission talk, and I said, you have to understand something, man. This is a discipleship program. You know, not like as if I know everything or anything like that, but like of I'm guiding you to make more money than you've ever made in your life. You got to trust me here, right? And then also, like, all the way down to your core personal life. What are you doing? I'm making these guys do a vision board of their own house. What are the things and the goals and the shit that means something to you? Where when you walk out of where you look yourself in the mirror and you've got a Sharpie or marker, dry erase marker of your goals, you know, whether it's to lose weight, find a girlfriend, be a better husband, down to how many, you know, jobs you want to sell, down to, you know, I want to learn how to ride a bucking bull. I don't give a fuck. You know, just all that on there. Yeah. Right? And you do not waver off of that shit. And when you do, it's accountable because the next day you walk up and you see that shit. Right. And you go, I didn't do that today. I'm going to do it today. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah.
And, bro, the beginning of the COVID thing, man, we lost $120,000 in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Cancellations, job cancellations, canceled contracts.
Cancellations. I had a investment property I was trying to offload. I was gonna make money on appreciation, and it cash flowed well. And then it's been a nightmare since the COVID thing on somebody moving out, and anyway, and so we had equity off of that, and they backed out 28th. It's gonna close the 2nd, and all that happened at once, dude. Now
so more like, adversity.
Shit. Yeah. What is that? Wait. What? What's? Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
the universe testing you, right? Testing all of us. I mean, there are so many people who are hurting right now and who are lost, right? Because they don't know what to do. Should I just stay on unemployment? Because I lost my job.
Right.
You can't be flexing and looking at yourself in the mirror at the same time. I don't know
how that works.
And I think a lot of people are lost. They're trapped by fear, right? They're like paralyzed by it. Paralysis by analysis. What do I do? Where do I go? What should I do? And the best thing you can do when you don't know what to do is take action. You know, it is.
There's a still voice, man, that most people will hear. And you have to cipher that voice. Mm-hmm. You know, if you have a voice that naturally is like, you know, if it seems like a negative thing or a don't, I wouldn't. And that's 90% of how that is. Yeah. Like when you hear a still small voice like, oh, don't cross the street. Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah. You know, that's probably not the Holy Spirit or your conscience. That's something else, dude. And I don't know. Some people have. I think everybody has that still gut feeling, right? Gut feeling,
right?
But they deny it.
Yeah, they're not tuned into it
because they're not tuned into it, or it's ballsy, or it's. But you're right. Action is you got to take one step, man. One step, dude.
Yeah. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with just one step. Maybe sometimes the first step is the hardest step. It is for a lot of people because they sit on the fence and they can't decide, right? What do I do? Where do I go?
Have you seen that deal where Forrest Gump just starts running?
And doesn't stop.
He doesn't stop.
He doesn't stop till his beard is a foot long. That's crazy. I watched that movie the other night. I haven't seen that in 10 years. That's crazy that you bring that up. That's a.
I think it's hilarious because he ends up getting this following.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, dude. Because he's just doing something, taking action. Right? He gets this giant following, and then he turns around. He's probably run fucking what, like 3,000 miles
across the country.
And he's like, I'm pretty tired. I think I'm gonna head home now.
Right.
I'm like, that's me every day. That's how I feel every day.
Don't you think that it's crazy that that we as humans watch? It's like some of my favorite movies, books, stories, whatever they are. They're based around comeback stories, around people faced with unsurmountable adversity, and they fight through it. They don't stop. But in our own lives, it's man. And sometimes facing down adversity is just doing very practical things like, what do I put in my body? What do I do with my body? Do I work out? Do I exercise? Do I sleep? Do I do those things? Because there are very few things in life that we can control. I mean, there really are very few things in life that we can control. Discipline is one of them, and 100%.
we all lack it to a certain extent.
For sure. No one is perfectly disciplined.
No. I mean, every day I wish I was more disciplined on shit.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's certain discipline lines that I won't cross.
Right.
That I try not to cross ever. Right. And I just think that, you're gonna that storm is gonna come.
Oh yeah.
To everybody. And there's 7 Rocky movies, right? Is there 7?
There's a bunch.
How many Rocky movies?
There's more. There's more than that, right? The new Rocky movies with Michael B. Jordan in them.
Yeah, now they've just added. So now it's not even Rocky, it's Creed now.
Now we got Creed.
That's right. We got Creed.
Okay, we're going from 7 underdog stories.
Right.
Okay, that America fucking loves so much where they're like, make 7. Okay, now we got Creed.
So how crazy and how badass is it? The story of how that movie started is that Stallone wrote that. And everybody wanted to buy it from him.
Huge Stallone fan,
and he kept saying, he said no. He said he had nothing. He said, no, this is mine. I'm going to do it all. And he finally got there. But he had to turn down, so many people coming to him going, okay, we want to buy we want to buy this from you, but we want I don't even remember who said, I'm starring in it, I'm directing it, I'm producing it. They wanted like Harvey Keitel or something to be there were so many.
I don't know,
Al Pacino
that wasn't going to be
that wasn't Stallone. The story of the movie is completely fitting, right? They put up a fucking statue in Philadelphia of that shit. I wonder if that's gonna get pulled down.
Oh,
right? I don't know.
How do you mic drop that shit?
After college, you're fighting through the being bummed out. No more football. You come back to Texas, back to DFW, get your family started, get your career started. Kind of talk about that a little bit.
I was doing trim carpentry.
Okay. Wow.
For $480 a week.
Wow.
We'd load up the trailer at 5.
Are you a DeWalt man or a Bostitch man or a Makita man?
Right now we're running Rigids.
Rigids, really? Did you get a deal?
Yeah, they came with those combo packs, like the Hammer Impact and then the regular ones. But
for me, it always kind of came down. I like Bostitch a lot.
Bostitch is shit. It's the shit.
For me,
that was my trim gun. It was like my personal box, my trim gun. That Bostitch thing didn't leave me.
There you go.
I went to bed with it. Dude.
Yeah. Just make sure you lock it up so you don't come out to your truck in the morning and it's gone. So you're putting together trim carpentry. That's tough work. That requires precision. You know, I mean, that takes something.
Most fun labor I've ever had.
Really fulfilling.
Yeah, fulfilling.
You walk away, you look what you just did. Look at that quality.
Me and my dad, my brother, and the other guy, we were a team. And
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Everybody had a role.
Eating lunch together.
Yeah. Eating lunch together and
like that old awesome poster of the dude sitting on the beam. You know that's one of my favorite.
Yeah,
man.
very American-esque.
It is.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over there, Ryan.
Knock on.
I was trying to find something to throw at you to put the mic in front of your face.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. No, it was.
You're my boy. I don't want to wear you out about the mic. We got to get on the mic.
Get on the mic.
The mic's your friend.
Testing. Enhance.
Yeah. So you're doing that.
Did foundation repair.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Some foundation repair.
Setting piers and pilings.
Yeah.
Man.
That was. Yeah. My hands and my forearms were like.
Yeah.
I then felt finally.
That'll
like
put it on you, man.
That was finally like where I was like, if a grown man comes on me, I may be able to defend myself real good right now. But that was hard ass work and it was good.
Right.
That was a season where I was working with my dad, but we weren't killing it.
Yeah.
So we had a bunch of random odd job shit that was actually good because I got to learn different tools and different trades.
Gotcha.
Sheetrock. Of how an eviction works, the clean out, the haul offs, the jackhammering a fucking concrete deal out, removing all that and repaving and a lot of gritty part-time stuff for me because I call it part-time. It was a real full-time job.
Yeah.
But at 4 or 5 o'clock, we'd finally be done. I'd come home, my agent would call and he'd go, "Hey, are you you're still working out, right?" And I'm like, yeah, I guess. I had a fucking turkey sandwich and had like 3 Red Bulls and been doing trim all day, listening to, the radio.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to go run.
Yeah.
And so I'd go there and I'd leave from work all day to go to the gym, work out a little bit, and then I'd have to go run to the extent where you're like, you almost have to push yourself to throw up every day because, they got like set workouts. Everybody's in shape.
Oh yeah, you got to stay ready. It's very tough to keep that mindset.
That season was hard.
Yeah.
But I knocked doors though. That was my grandpa died that year, and he was a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was hard. And I was knocking doors, man. I mean, I was knocking doors too on top of all that shit to try to get anything extra.
Right.
And it was like $20 or $25 a lead.
Yeah.
And I convinced Dad to let me sell.
Yeah.
I said, let me sell. I don't know if I'm going to get a call.
Right.
I really don't know. I'm on the short list, but you know how it is. I doubt I'm just going to, if it gets like I got so many jobs, just run them, shit.
Right.
And anyway, and I went out in Allen. It was like 3 months after the storm. It was like in July.
Yeah.
And I got called a loser and got a gun pulled on me one day.
Castle doctrine.
Yeah.
He didn't want you on your didn't want you on his front porch, I guess.
Yeah, fucking, he went all, Josie Wales on me.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was weird. And but I kept knocking, man.
Yeah.
I remember talking to a guy and he was like he says, "You're a loser. The storm was 3 months ago. One of you or one other guy came by here already, and if I hadn't done it, I'm damn sure not doing it with you." And I just took that shit on the chin and kept knocking.
Yeah.
I said, "You're the loser. You're the
You can't beat a man who won't quit.
Yeah.
You cannot beat a man who won't quit.
Yeah. And
That's awesome. Just kept after it.
I kept after it, and I sold 12 roofs in that neighborhood where 90% of them were already done.
There you go. That's awesome.
And then that kicked it off, and I was like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna get back to contracting and selling shit."
Yeah.
Because I'm not scared.
Right.
And I didn't have a choice. My Jess was pregnant too, so I was like, I better make some fucking money.
Right. Yeah, those deliveries are expensive, man. That takes the resources. So you're working for your dad. You're staying ready. You just keep after it. You can't beat a man who won't quit. NFL opportunity comes and goes, and then kind of the horizon starts to reveal itself to you of doing your own thing, how to do your own thing, how to branch out. I mean, that's kind of when you and I met a lot. We talked a lot about you know, working for somebody else, you working for yourself, your frustrations, working for somebody else, because the shade in this restoration contracting business there is so much shade, man.
There's a lot of shade, and I think that what a normal customer is not going to understand is the man behind the veil, the man of who that man is when he goes home every day.
Mm-hmm.
The stance of, I'm not going to go around with a bag over my head. I want to be proud of this shit. I'm going to raise my kids here.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's how my dad was, and so that's why our company is Anderson.
Yeah.
It's my last name, dude. It's been that for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And mine is because there's so many different Anderson, you know, different roof. I named it after my son, Colt, and who's on the autism spectrum. And that was a whole nother adverse season when I finally got tread and started making money in career and business, and then was like, whoa, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, I mean, I just think that you know, like, I couldn't do any of this without God. Some people are going to have their spiritual beliefs, and I'm going to have mine.
Yeah.
You know, and like, and there's a stance and a line in the sand that I draw, and that's you know, you do what you fucking say.
Right.
You know, and dude, like, that may be like kind of like almost, you know, silly or cheesy or whatever, but Jesus, man, you'd be shocked how many people aren't fucking doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it may not be shocking. Maybe you're woke, dude.
Well, it's the reputation that precedes all of us, that there are a lot of people in our business who do not do what they say they will do, and I think our business proves the axiom more than any other that talk is extremely cheap.
We're rough around the edges, but the reason we gravitate towards each other and was because you were like, I learned how to do this. I was swinging.
Yeah, right.
I was swinging a hammer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah. Here's a white buffalo, dude, swinging a hammer. You know,
carrying shingles up a ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and so, like, there's a pride that I have on and a very specific screening on my labor guys that you know, we'll circle all back down to team building. If they can't do grunny labor shit and they're not willing to do that, I won't even let them have a chance at estimating.
Yeah.
That's that, and right now everybody is you know, on staff right now is ex-military or an athlete, former athlete,
right? Because
everybody else so far is just, you know, for whatever reason, just not understood that dog mindset of, like, if there's one bone left, I got to rip it out of your clinches, dude. You know, and I don't want to see that day with this guy. I'll tell you that. You know what I mean?
What
I'm
is
in trouble?
That mindset, though, that metal, I call it the metal mindset, right? You call it the dog mindset. I mean, what does that entail? What is that? If you were gonna boil that down,
Well, tell me what the metal mindset is. What's
the metal mindset to me is your mindset that's been forged, right? It's not like, hey, I wake up every day and I am just absolutely dialed in, ready to roll. Adversity doesn't face me. No, I make a choice that today it's not going to break me. I make a choice. I don't do it alone, though.
Yeah.
And I feel like that energy, that positive energy of, I don't care what the challenge is, I'm going to stand up to it, I'm going to overcome it, I'm going to look it in the eye, that's infectious.
Yeah, it is.
But it's only infectious to people who have that same vibe. You'd be around people.
That's kind of true.
And they see that in you.
I think that's why throughout my life I've felt so misunderstood or maybe like not liked at times. Because that is almost like a deal that comes out of my pores that I can't help. I naturally want a challenge. I naturally want to you know, say some stuff that, like, may rock the boat but help, right? Or I may just, you know, not be. I've realized what's crazy, bro. I had a meltdown at the wreck in Grapevine the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, they.
Jess have to come bail you out?
No, I'd say a meltdown. I just basically I was doing pull-ups and I was minding my own business and I was, 6 foot radius from anybody else and I'm up in the air, and the mask is down to here so I can breathe, and some guy comes over policing me. And he's like, "Sir, you need to wear your mask." And I got my headphones on and I said, "I don't come here a lot, man. Just let me do my thing. Get away from me.
Yeah.
Get away from me. Leave me alone." That's what I kept saying. Leave me alone. And they kept on. And then another guy came by and he says, and he gets in my personal space and he says, "You're out of here. Get out of here if you don't want to wear your mask while you're working out." And I said, "If you believe in all this shit, you're too close to me."
Yeah.
And dang it, I was gonna forget my point on where I was going with that. But dude, anyway, I basically said
that dog is in you though. That's what you were saying.
Well, okay, so that's what I realized. If you have a freedom and a liberation effect that oozes out of your pores, for some people that is a chain breaking effect where they're like, "I will run with that dude because that is freedom."
Yeah.
That dude gets it, right? Or he's like, nobody's telling him shit. He's doing his own thing. He's in his own lane, whatever, right? But people that are shackled themselves, they want you to be enslaved too.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
It seems like misery does love company,
Yep.
and people see somebody who seems mentally free, and it's odd to people sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe it comes across as joy. I don't know if I exude much joy, but I think that I definitely foster in myself this unbreakable positivity, even when absolutely all the chips are down.
Yeah.
And you're down by 10, 2 minutes left, or in rugby we say we're on the downside of advantage. The other team gets a penalty, but they don't whistle. They don't whistle to play dead.
Right.
The other team gets to keep playing.
Right.
And a lot of times you're on the back foot. It's
Yeah.
very, very difficult to then defend. You got to keep getting back. In rugby, you play offense and defense.
Right.
And it's why, in my opinion, it's the greatest game.
Yeah.
The size of the man doesn't matter. The smallest man on the field can dominate the game in the game of rugby.
Yeah.
But you have to make a decision that you're not going to be broken. And
I think you have a mantle of leadership on you, though, that is like, it's one of those things where, coaches have styles. Certain, you got like Rob Bryan with his long hair and he's kind of wild.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
And then you have, guys that are very Tom Coughlin-like. They're running like a military operation.
oh yeah,
type of
disciplinarians.
deal. Bill Belichick looks like the sucker never smiles.
Oh yeah,
they're winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl, and you're like, damn,
he doesn't look like he enjoys life.
They're like,
very
damn,
much.
is this mofo happy?
Yeah.
But he does. He is happy. But he doesn't. He's not wearing it on his shirt sleeve. I'm
Right.
more of a wear it on my shirt sleeve. Here it is. You don't steal the joy. That's. But you have a very direct, general type thing, and that's good.
Sure.
It's like a when you go into a special forces thing and shout out to the troops. Shout out to the troops.
Big
Shout out to
time.
the servicemen, dude.
100.
That are have laid it all down, and giving us this right to even talk about them. Right?
No doubt.
But the special forces guys, there's a breach man, then there's another guy that comes in, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's funny because certain people have different skill sets.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you're not gonna be mad at the fucking breach guy because he gets to kick the door down. That's his role.
Right.
You do your job.
Yeah.
And I think everybody, wants to either not do their job or, somebody gets, put in a position that is fit for their role or they're not fit for that role, puts them in jeopardy. And then they're like, whoa, what's going on here? But
Right.
the ship is navigated only by, navigated well only by a worthy captain.
Yeah, and that's a captain who's been through some things, right? Experience is knowledge. Everything else is just information.
Yeah.
You can tell when someone's been through some things,
Yeah.
can't you? Like, it's pretty obvious. Just like you can tell, like you were talking before, we work in construction. It's extremely obvious when someone has not actually swung the hammer or run the miter saw or wrangled that jackhammer for hours and weeks on it. You can tell when they're talking from a base of, I learned this on the interweb, or I read this in a book, or I had someone explain this to me, or I actually did it with my own hands. I broke my back. I couldn't get out of bed the next day. That's how much I know how to do this. I actually did it. I didn't quit.
Yeah.
You know, I got through it.
Yeah.
I think that's the tough part, the tough thing about finding guys to work with. Like, I never say anybody works for me. I say I work with everyone.
Yeah.
We're all a team. We all win when we all win. And you can go fast alone, but if you want to go far, you got to go together.
Yeah.
You know, those are not my. I wish those were my quotes, but those are not. I'd be on a beach. Those are not my quotes. Those are old quotes, and they're as true as fuck.
Yeah.
And I think that people lose sight. Everybody's really fast to take the glory. I think you see the guys who share it, you know, and who are first in the gym, last to leave. Those are the guys. And those are the guys who people gravitate toward, too.
I want to harp on something I felt like I learned this year, man. Like basically, you know, everybody knows the story of David and Goliath, right? Well, David had experiential knowledge of God delivering him from lions, from bears, from things trying to, you know, wolves trying to attack his sheep while he was a shepherd boy, right? And he was the youngest, run of the litter type of deal. And no one expected him to be a king. Well, because he had his own flaws, right? Like, but a worthy king, you know, was one that served.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, we've always, like, as Americans, you know, when they've served in the military or something, they automatically jump up pretty decent on the ballot, whether they're, you know, accredited or not.
Sure.
We give them that. We're like, hey, dude, you served.
Oh, you've seen some adversity, sir.
Right. And so, like, you know, those, you know, what's like what you said. I mean, people really want to reap. They want to reap, and they have not sowed.
Right.
And when you do that, there's not gratitude of putting it in the ground and tilling the ground and putting in that plant and watering it and watching
protecting it.
Yep, and watching it produce. You know, and it's a daunting mantle to be called to a big tree that's going to provide shade for people and fruit and abundance. You know, but when you get that call, man, you cannot. It's who you are, dude. Like, you can't change that shit. You know.
Yeah, you know, the best leaders are leaders who pull. They don't push. And if you pull, it means you're out front. Right? And everyone's behind you, and you're pulling, and you're putting in the hard work. And those are the guys who you've been in locker rooms, right? You've seen the guys who the press says, it's team leader. It's very, very often true that the true team leader is not known on the streets. He's only known in the room.
He's undercover.
He's the dude.
Yeah.
He's the dude.
Yeah.
And people look at him when things are down. When the coach seems off, the team leader's putting the coach in his place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he might not be taking the questions at the press conference, but everybody's coming to his dorm room when shit's blowing up, asking him, "What do we do?"
Yeah.
You know, those are the true team leaders.
Yeah.
Not the guys out there seeking the spotlight. You know, for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Haven't done anything, haven't been through anything, but.
Right.
I'm the guy. Talk to me a little bit, because you and I met through social media, and it's just such a wasteland. You know, it's such a...
it's pretty toxic right now.
It's crazy.
And one of the most encouraging things that I ran across the other day was, you know, you're seeing everybody's true colors on, you know, what's going on right now, and you know, the adverse season that America's in and the United States. And what was encouraging to me was I shared a post about adversity and about, trying times and digging deep and it's going to be okay, trust the process type of stuff. And it was a year or 2 years ago, and it's like, Facebook does that timeline shit.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, cool. Nothing's changed there. Share.
Yeah.
And man, if that was encouraging as far as I'm still beating that drum.
Yeah.
I want people to win.
Right.
I want people to have success. I want people to be good men and women in the workplace, at home, and I realize that life is not fair and it is not easy. We can agree on that shit. We can agree on that shit.
Yeah.
And anybody that wants to tell me something different, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what we can agree on.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
start
If you're telling me that all you're doing is winning, I don't believe you, and you burned your trust bridge with me. I mean, there's absolutely no way.
It's a perspective shift, man. It's a perspective shift, and what's really cool is when the younger guys are like, that was a learning lesson right there, like a job that wasn't as profitable as he thought it was going to be or something like that, and we're being transparent, dropping the numbers down to the cents type of shit, and I'm like, here it is, man, and he's like, is that all we made on that? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, it's all right, because that what I learned that week is fucking invaluable.
Oh, yeah.
That's still a win.
Yep.
And I'm like, hell yeah, it is, buddy.
Yeah, I love that quote. We never lose. We win or we learn.
Yep.
Right? I try to tell my guys that too. Let's remember our lessons. Sometimes, if not most of the time, the hard lessons are the most important ones. Like if we hit a home run, that's awesome. But let's not dwell on that. Let's focus on the strikeout and figure out why. Yeah, absolutely.
He's like, get me the guy that gets on base. Don't he's got a hot girlfriend, Mickey, or whatever.
Yeah, and there's something to be said too for not trying to reinvent the wheel. You talked about knocking on doors. Yeah. You read in our industry all over. Oh, if you're still knocking on doors, you're doing it wrong. From all these gurus, right? Gurus. And there's still one proven way to be successful. And it's not the fun one, and it's not the glamorous one, and it's not the glitzy one, but it's the grunt, the hardcore one.
You look at mega successful people, even down to Ross Perot, man. Ross Perot went door to door to sell software shit.
Yep.
Absolutely. My dad told me that.
Yeah.
And Zig Ziglar.
Ross Perot.
Yeah.
Think about where our country would be if he had been elected. Seriously. I mean, I got 10 years on you, but.
Yeah, I don't remember that. Man.
Yeah, you think about the trajectory. It's pretty crazy. It didn't happen, but that guy's Ross Perot's an American hero. What's that book? Wings of Eagles, I think, where he funded going in and getting Americans out of Iran.
No way.
He funded dude, yeah. I'll send it to you after this. It's fucking badass, man.
I think the next time we meet up, man, all that team building stuff, I want to try to, if anybody is in this, realizing that we're roofers or contractors or small business entrepreneurs, the thing that is a learning curve, but also I at least have some sort of knowledge is personnel matchup. Yeah. So personnel matchup, we'll go into rugby analogy. I'd be a wing.
Yeah, or a fullback.
I'd be
maybe
wing.
A center. Yeah.
Yeah, and because I'm fast and I need to be out wide to be able to make plays out there in space. Mm-hmm. You're gonna have a front man breach guy. You're gonna have the guy that's a fucking wizard at getting leads, getting doors, getting contracts signed and everything. Then you're gonna have the effing savage demo guy that PMs and doesn't miss a fucking thing.
Collects those checks.
Then there's going to be the dropping the hammer, the collections guy that we call Ryan in.
We don't, we get Ryan in there. He doesn't let anybody off the hook.
No.
Yeah, we are collecting that second insurance check. That is what the contract says. Yeah. Shoot, man, let's talk about that. Let's talk about our industry. We run insurance claims all day. I mean, we both probably are getting texts right now off jobs left, right, and center. I can imagine that we are. We run claims. We fight the insurance companies.
Yeah, 95% of my business is all claim stuff, and it is it's daunting right now, man. I mean, we're Robin Hood more than we've ever been.
It's crazy to me, but why are we surprised that the carriers are using COVID to their own advantage? And why it's not surprising, man. It's the way they've been doing it. They use everything to their advantage. Today, I drove through Tornado Alley from October in Dallas. Remember, it went right down the center of that Home Depot at Forest and 75.
Still looks like rubble.
Bro, it's out of control,
looks
man.
Looks like a zombie
And
apocalypse.
nobody talks about it. It's been on TV maybe 2-3 times that these insurance carriers need to be taken to task.
Woody Harrelson's walking around over there, you know.
Zombie Land
getting zombie
and Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
It's insane, man. You go out, you run an adjustment with a field adjuster. You agree. You look at everything on the property, whether it's a residential or commercial.
That check in the van.
Right there, with all the damage that you looked at. Now it is a calculated decision. They go back. They eliminate about 40% of what you saw. The loss report is a shadow.
5 new middlemen to deal with.
It's a shadow.
We had a guy. We had one claim in an undisclosed location. I'm just kidding.
I want to know.
Yeah, it's in Argyle, and they the claims that they said, the claims adjuster got fired on this one
Because he paid too much.
and we're like, what? So now somebody else has it, and this lady has an active leak, and we've been, then this carrier's dragged her through the mud for 2.5 months, or a month and a half at least, and feels like 2.5 months. It feels like an eternity because you're like, hey, when are we putting that job on?
Yeah.
And because we've done emergency repair
Gotta
already.
go check that emergency repair every time it storms.
Yep. And you're staying up at night while it's raining thinking, oh shit, I hope Susan doesn't call.
Yeah.
Because this is a Band-Aid.
Yes.
This is a Band-Aid.
Yeah, and we can't do anything in good faith because we operate in good faith, but the carrier uses everything we do against us. And if you go out there and you do a repair before it's 100% approved,
and then they
stick it to you.
And there's also not any, when you call, right? They kick it off with, you're on a recorded line, right?
Right.
Remember that?
Almost like you're a criminal.
Yeah, they start that off, and I don't want to have an all-out battle against every carrier because not every carrier, I want to make that clear, not every carrier out there is super evil trying to gyp everybody.
There's some all right carriers.
There's some all right carriers that have been legit in the middle of an adverse season.
That's true.
Okay, that is true. But there are certain ones that are taking advantage of what's going on in the nation, taking advantage of the minimum funds that homeowners have while they're fucking locked down in their house.
They're scraping together a deductible.
They're scraping together a deductible.
Can barely pay that.
They can barely pay their insurance premium.
Yep.
They're barely paying their mortgage and their escrow. They gotta fucking pay it.
Right.
Or here comes a repo man.
Absolutely.
And so they
got a damaged home. Mm-hmm. Your home, one of your biggest investments, is damaged. No doubt about it. That's been confirmed, and now you got the carrier looking for ways to minimize the payout, but not just that, to delay the entire process.
To try to put us out of business and us give up.
Want to make you give up? Just send me the depreciation. I don't care. I got to make payroll. Force us to do things like go to appraisal to get a fair outcome. Nobody's trying to get one over on the carrier. Nobody's trying to stack racks. Nobody's trying to hit licks. We're just trying to get what is fair paid.
They're literally, right now we're literally having to fight we're having to send in 2 to 3 different, response and new estimates and everything like that to get I'm talking average shit for like kind of quality. I mean, you're talking bare bones, and then I gotta tell all the guys, hey, I can't pay that great on this one.
Right.
What the fuck?
Right.
That's not fair.
No, it's not.
And if I was a labor guy, I'd be pissed.
So what gets me too is we're not paying per the policy. We're paying per the policy guidelines. We can't argue with the desk adjuster about the policy. No O&P on most of your roof onlys.
That's what I was going to say.
And that's just wrong.
That's what I was going to say.
Because the carrier's charging O&P on those premiums, bro.
Yeah.
You don't think there's overhead and profit on your premiums?
Right.
They're running a business, but we can't run a business.
Right. Right.
Run that by me again.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. What company in this country doesn't charge overhead and profit? Overhead is how you pay your bills at work. Profit is how you pay your bills at home.
Yeah.
This is how businesses are run.
No question, they're charging over because if you got a GL policy, which you got to have one in the area, you can't just let people up there roofing your house. And and your contractor doesn't have insurance.
No doubt.
So somebody dies, Humpty Dumpty's, or hits their head on the pavement, and blood splatters everywhere, and then here comes the Jim Adler, the Texas Hammer, suing you. We're getting charged on gross.
Right.
Our premiums are dictated on gross revenue sales.
Right.
Well, so we get a gross revenue deal, and that's not our net.
Right.
We're carrying overhead for 3 fucking months on one job.
Absolutely.
That we're paying $40,000 on, and we're hoping to get 10.
Yep.
You feel what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Catch what I'm throwing.
I do. And we're talking about the carrier requiring something out of the restoration contractor that's not required in any other line of industry in our country, which is I'm going to argue with you about overhead and profit on these jobs. I can't go into Best Buy and pull out a laptop and go, okay, I'd like to see your breakdown. I'm not paying that O&P. Give me a fucking break. Best Buy's going, how am I keeping the lights on in here, man?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right? So that's the daily fight. It's a fight, and it's crazy because most of our clients, or a lot of our clients, start out with this inherent fear of their carrier. They are scared of their insurance company. They're scared to get dropped. They're scared.
They're scared their rates are going to go up.
Absolutely, even though it's an act of God and a catastrophe, and TDI prohibits that your premiums be rated for making
a catastrophe
claim.
Believe that they because they're on my escrow and my mortgage statement every month, they must have my best interest at heart.
100%.
So you don't know shit. My insurance company's on my side.
Yeah.
And then they come out and they write 0 when all your neighbors are getting new shit.
Absolutely.
And you go, well, what'd I tell you?
So what do? How do you get that client on your side? Because we tell our clients, listen, we're a team and we need you on our side. We're on your side. We're going to solve this problem together.
That's a farmer's adjuster.
Yeah.
Shout out Gary Kuketz.
Is that the client? That's the adjuster for that client?
That's I do business with him, but he also...
Is he an agent?
Yeah, he's an agent,
Gotcha.
But he also trusts me to give a subjective view because Farmers isn't sending out adjusters in the field.
Yep,
and
true.
I've denied shit that didn't need to get a loss.
Wasn't there?
Yeah, they needed a win. It was a win repair.
Oh, so you've got integrity?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's we're trying to have that as the MO.
Yeah, man. So we try to meet every adjuster on every adjustment. But there's times when someone's referred to you, calls you off the internet, however they call you. You come out, there's a loss report. So you're kind of starting there from ground zero. And you're trying to get everything paid.
You're building rapport by how thorough you are and giving a shit about their house.
Well, yeah, and we go through with them and we walk all the way around their house or their business, and we say, whoa, what about your fence, your windows, your stucco, your HVAC system, your pool, your expansion joints, all of those things that, for the most part, if the roof gets bought, the adjuster kind of thinks his job is done. And I'm not here to rail on adjusters. I've got a bunch of friends who are IAs. I played rugby with a bunch of guys. Shout out to Scott Schmidt. And I mean, it's a hard job. Being an adjuster is not easy, man. They're getting it from us. They're getting it from the client. And I would much rather...
I think the majority of them want to pay for a total loss.
I totally think the majority of them are good people.
But I
don't know about Ladder Now, Hancock, and the Ladder Assist people, though, man, because I think there's a mandate there, and I think it's sad, and I think it makes our job more difficult than it needs to be.
Yeah. It's
I just want to help people.
Yeah.
That's all you want to do too.
Yeah.
Right? Help our clients because they're on our team. Our clients are part of our family.
Yeah.
And then our guys and gals who work for both of our organizations, I mean, we're just trying to help people.
You treat like what the biggest thing I tell people is I'm going to treat your house like as if it's my house,
Right.
or if it's or this business is as if it's my business and my investment. I don't know the mantle of like what that's like for you carrying that, right? Carrying all the burdens and the ins and outs of shit
Right.
that breaks. So I'm here today to make sure that shit that's broken that is covered by insurance, we're going to try our damnedest to make sure that
Right.
it's covered, because you've been dealing with all the ins and outs on stuff that's not covered, right? Like when your AC goes out and shit, And anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the service industry.
Yeah.
And we're in an industry where we already have this, like we said before, a reputation that precedes us.
Yeah.
That is not a result of what we've done, but it's a result of what other people have done. So there's already a shadow of doubt connected to what we do. So creating the rapport with the client, building trust.
Bingo.
Especially if you arrive on their doorstep, you inspect their roof, you tell them it's totaled, you meet the adjuster agrees. So you have now, what you've told them is going to happen has now happened several times in a row. Then it just comes down to quality install, going the extra mile.
Yeah, when all that happens and you have the proper the proper rapport early, the trust building early. When you get the dinner table, man, and it's not 99% closing time, then, A, you're not a closer, and B, you didn't do your shit early.
Almost want that thing to close itself. I mean, we do train our guys, be a closer, be assertive, be confident, be educated, eye contact, the whole 9 yards, but you almost want that to close itself because the client sees, wow, look at what they've done already. Everything they said they were going to do, they did, and look at where I'm at. Here, of course I'm going to sign this.
Before we leave, I want to add, because you got a lot of experience and a lot of people, especially my young guys and other companies that, have a team and maybe haven't been doing this as long as we've been doing this. Does it ever change where you do all that stuff and you don't have 50% of the customers that suddenly think that all your value that you brought, doesn't deserve a check?
I have never been more amazed in my life about how dollars change people.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it. I'm used to it now. I'm callous to it.
Right.
But it's amazing. Even when we've checked all the boxes.
I'll tell you, don't get into this. I'll tell you this right now. Do not get into this.
Look at the camera. Don't get into this.
Don't get into the restoration business.
No.
If you're not a savage on letting your voice be heard on collections, the value that you bring, the service that you provided, and the grace for the people, that you understand that these dollars aren't their heart. They aren't coming from a background like yours. Maybe they're coming from corporate America, and they think that this check arrived at my house and now it's my check, even though this check wouldn't exist without so and so making them pay that check, and that's the hardest thing with some of my younger guys, that they don't want to take draws. I'm trying to. We're trying to close these jobs out. We've done everything it takes. We've done every trade. We've done, all the different facets of this thing, all the way down to interior and coordinating that.
Right.
And trying not to be a nuisance, but it is major construction.
Yep.
It's going to be a hassle
for
a week.
No doubt.
But you're not gonna get red tagged and deal with a claim process when you got the house under contract and it's a big nightmare.
Trying to sell it.
Yeah. Yep. You're going to be able to sell it. You're going to be able to get a cheaper insurance rate because it's not a liability anymore, because of a storm loss.
Right.
You're gonna be able to have a peace of mind, and not surprised when the thing leaks.
Yep.
Or repairing the old leak. You're not the Band-Aid, the $250 repair, right? You're not like, oh man, that guy won't call me back. No shit. Yeah. Because we didn't pay enough.
Right.
That dude cocked it.
Yeah.
And I just think that if you don't have thick skin on that and realize that, dollars make people weird, sometimes and be able to cut through that
Yep.
and say, and lay your balls out there and lay everything out there and say, I did all this for you. Don't forget this.
Yep.
Okay. And you're not my enemy.
Right.
Okay.
Let's work together.
Let's work together.
Let's work together.
Here,
Let's
okay?
collaborate,
because
cooperate.
because if you refied my house and got me all the way to the finish line and did all this stuff and I was going to save this much money and then I go, hey, no,
I don't want to pay your origination fee.
Jeremy, sorry, not going to pay that actually because I think I could have done it myself.
Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart, this business. There's a lot of guys in this business who have no experience. I think, like you said, we've both done it. We've both swung the hammer. We got that badge of honor. I'm stoked that we got to get together and chop it up, man. I really am.
Yeah.
Where and how can people reach you?
www.colt, Colt, like the gun, builds, builds.com. AndersonIndustrialRoofing.net. And my Facebook is Luke Anderson. It's pretty transparent. You know, you're gonna look me up. I'm the owner. You're gonna see business stuff out there. You're gonna see pictures of my family. I'm a real person. You know, I'm not.
That you are.
I'm not afraid of what somebody's gonna. You know, I don't have just a company logo, and I'm a phantom absentee owner. Like every job I want to be at.
Yeah.
Of all the sales guys of my stuff,
So
I want to
you
know
care.
what's going on. Yes, sir.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. Love you.
Love you too,
You
buddy.
can always reach me on my Instagram, Jess from the Northwest. Shoot me an email if you'd like, live@autographconstruction.com. Thanks for joining us.
Stand and seam.
Yeah. Stand and seam, TPO.
Stand and seam, TPO,
We got it all.
silicone coating,
Big, tall, we roof them all.
mod bit,
That's
clay
right.
tile,
Keep your liability insurance current and paid up, please. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate y'all. Bye.
Wow, that was awesome. Ton of energy. It's great to talk to somebody who's in the same industry. Luke's got so much insight, and we've got so much in common, so many shared experiences. What did you think? Drop a comment below. What do you want to hear about? What can I do better? I enjoyed it. It's really great talking to a young guy like Luke. I can't wait to have him back. He's got a ton of energy. If you want to do business, email me at live@autographconstruction.com. Again, drop a comment below. Please subscribe. Feel free to hit me on Instagram, Jess from the Northwest.